If you ever thought your teenage years were dramatic, wait until you hear about the 17-year-old who stared down the Nazis like they were late assignments she refused to turn in. Forget celebrity meltdowns, influencer scandals, or who unfollowed who on Instagram. Today, we're diving into a real-life story that makes Hollywood action movies look like sleepy Sunday cartoons. Because while America loves its superheroes and spandex, Europe once had a teenage girl with no cape, no special effects, and no fear, standing alone in front of one of the deadliest regimes in history. And she didn't just stand. She fought, she resisted, she defied. This is the brutal, staggering, almost unbelievable story of Lepa Radic, the teenage girl the Nazis tried to silence and accidentally made immortal. Before we jump into Firestorm, welcome back to UK Pancakes, the channel that serves history with a side of sass, boldness, and more energy than a celebrity PR team cleaning up a scandal at 3 a.m. If you like storytelling that hits faster than a TMZ headline and harder than a Twitter dogpile, make sure you subscribe and slam that notification bell like it owes you money. All right, deep breath. Let's do this. Picture Europe during World War II, a place so chaotic it makes modern celebrity drama look like a toddler's tea party. Entire regions were falling under Nazi occupation, like dominoes drenched in gasoline. And in one corner of the storm, specifically a small village near Bosanska Gradiška, in what is now Bosnia and Herzegovina, a girl named Lepa Radic was quietly becoming the kind of person history books would struggle to categorize. Hero? Martyr? Legend? All of the above. Pick one. Slide it into your emotional shopping cart, and let's keep rolling. Born December 19th, 1925, Lepa had humble beginnings. No spotlight, no fame, no Netflix documentary crew waiting for her outside school. Her family were hard-working Bosnian Serbs with strong communist leanings, something that would matter a whole lot once the world caught fire. Her uncle was heavily involved in the workers' movement, and the political atmosphere in the household was basically Revolution Breakfast Club. So yes, she grew up with big ideas, big values, and the kind of political awareness most of us didn't develop until we realized school lunches were a government conspiracy. Academically, she was a student teachers love and other students quietly hate because she reads at a level years ahead and actually enjoys it. She wasn't just smart. She reads political theory for fun smart. You know that kid who actually reads the assigned book instead of hunting for the movie version? That was Lepa. By age 15, while most teenagers today are arguing about curfews or begging for iPhones, she joined the League of Communist Youth of Yugoslavia and the Communist Party itself. A whole political membership card at 15. Meanwhile, I was still trying to figure out why microwaving aluminum foil was a bad idea. But the timing? Oh! The timing was explosive. Europe was a powder keg. Hitler's ambitions were ballooning like an influencer's ego after their first viral video. And Yugoslavia was caught smack in the middle. Hitler demanded alliances, then demanded obedience. And when that didn't go his way, he demanded the whole country. And so, in April 1941, after a coup threatened Nazi interests, Germany invaded Yugoslavia with all the subtlety of a celebrity divorce announcement dropped at midnight. Yugoslavia fell in just 11 days. 11 days. I've seen Amazon packages take longer. Territories were torn apart. Bosnia and Croatia were merged into the so-called independent state of Croatia, run by the Ustaes, a fascist puppet government so violent, so horrific, that even hardened Nazis raised eyebrows. These were the people who proudly announced they wanted to kill 1/3 of the Serbs, expel 1/3, and forcibly convert the rest. And they meant it. This is the world Lepa Radic grew up in. But here's where things get interesting. The Nazis could take land. They could take cities. But they could not take the mountains. And inside those mountains, resistance movements were brewing like the world's most dangerous espresso shot. Two groups rose, the Chetniks and the Partisans. One hesitated, one didn't. One wanted caution, one wanted action. And the Radic family? Yeah, they didn't hesitate. Lepa's father and uncles joined the Partisans in July 1941, fighting the occupiers head-on. For that, they were thrown in prison by the Ustaes, only to be freed weeks later by the Partisans themselves. Imagine breaking your own family members out of fascist jail. That's not a movie moment. That's a full franchise. From that moment, Lepa was all in. She and her sister joined the Partisans. Lepa served as a nurse, patching up wounded soldiers, evacuating the injured, organizing young recruits. She wasn't just in the fight. She was part of its nervous system. And she didn't stay behind the lines. She joined operations, slipped past enemies, harvested grain right under German noses, and eventually became part of the 7th Partisan Company of the 2nd Krieger Detachment. Then came January 1943. The Germans launched Case White, an all-out attempt to obliterate the Partisans once and for all. And when I say obliterate, I mean they threw everything at them but the kitchen sink. Mountains erupted in gunfire. Villages burned. Resistance fighters found themselves facing elite SS units trained to wipe out entire populations. This wasn't a battle. It was survival. Lepa's role? Transporting wounded fighters to the freezing mountains to safety. Tito, the partisan leader, had a rule: never leave the wounded behind, because the Axis would always execute them. Lepa took that rule to heart. And then, the moment that cemented her place in history, she was captured. It happened in February 1943. She was protecting civilians, women and children, trying to get them to safety. But the SS 7th Volunteer Mountain Division surrounded them like wolves. Lepa didn't run. She didn't surrender. She emptied her rifle into the advancing troops until she had nothing left. One girl, one gun, one last stand that makes every action movie shootout look like a water pistol fight at a kid's birthday party. Outnumbered, outgunned, and literally out of bullets, she was captured. The Germans imprisoned her, interrogated her, tortured her, trying to force her to reveal the identities of her fellow partisans. Her answer? Silence. Steel. Defiance. They couldn't break her, so they sentenced her to death. On February 8, 1943, the Nazis built a makeshift gallows in Bosanska Krupa. No ceremony, no dignity. Just a rope over a beam and a box beneath her feet. Villagers were forced to watch. Soldiers surrounded her. And as the noose went over her neck, Lepa Radic didn't beg, didn't cry, didn't apologize. No, she shouted, "Long live the Communist Party and the Partisans. Fight, people, for your freedom. Do not surrender to the evildoers. I will be killed, but others will avenge me." It was a kind of line you'd think a movie scriptwriter made up, because no teenager could possibly be that brave. But she was. Then came the final attempt to break her spirit. The Nazi commander stepped forward and offered to spare her life in exchange for names of partisans. Anyone else might have cracked. She didn't. Her answer? I am not a traitor, my people. Those you are asking about will reveal themselves when they have succeeded in wiping out all you evildoers to the last man. With that, the box was kicked away, and the world gained a martyr. She was 17. On the Nazi report, the Germans wrote, "The bandit girl showed unprecedented defiance." Unprecedented defiance. That's what they called it. But what it really was courage. The kind of courage that still echoes today. After the war, the Yugoslav government honored her as a people's hero, one of the youngest ever to receive the title. Statues were built. Streets were named after her. Her photograph remains one of the most powerful images of resistance in World War II. But behind all the myth, all the heroism, all the iconography, was still just a teenage girl. A girl who picked up a rifle against fascism, who stood between civilians and death, who refused to betray her comrades even with death staring her in the face. She didn't just fight tyranny, she spit in its eye, and that's why we tell her story. Thanks for watching. And if you want more bold, sharp, high-energy deep dives like this, make sure to subscribe to UK Pancakes and hit the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching.